Where Noah's hair was blacker than a moonless night, hers couldn't decide if it wanted to be dark brown or auburn. They were both thin, but Noah made his slightness seem powerful, and while Finn had the Driscoll green eyes, Noah's were piercingly blue. If he would just wake up and get out of bed, every girl in his freshman class would fall in love with him. Noah had gone into a coma 9 months ago, right after his 14th birthday. There was no warning, no bad reaction to food or drugs, no blow to the head, no loss of oxygen. One morning, he just didn't wake up. Finn and her mother Julia had ridden to the hospital in the ambulance. The EMT kept asking them questions. Did he hit his head? Was he anaphylactic? A drug user? No, and no. Nothing. He just didn't wake up. Her mother cried and tried to hold his hand, but the EMT kept taking it back to insert a needle or check his blood pressure. The sounds, the ripping of sterile packages and beeping equipment, it was all so loud. Finn started humming, trying to drown it out. At the hospital, they took him away. Scans, blood tests, more scans, more questions about what he might have done, what might have caused it. Specialists came and ordered more tests, sometimes the same test, but none of it mattered. It all came back normal. Noah was healthy, they said, except for being unconscious. Nana came to help, and the three of them, Finn, her mother, and Nana, took turns staying at the hospital. When Finn was home, she'd go to her room, put on headphones, and play music as loudly as she could until the pounding in her ears drowned out the silence. After a month with no change, they brought him home. They put him in the room off the kitchen because it fit the hospital bed better. Mom decorated with stuff from his bedroom, drawings and vintage video game posters, a shelf full of graphic novels. It was like a replica of Noah's real bedroom, just like how the unresponsive boy on the bed seemed like a replica of her real brother. Finn hated it. The floor was cold on her feet as she crossed to her brother's bed. "Good morning, shrimp." She leaned down and gave him a kiss on the cheek. "You were in my dream last night. I was hot and melted through ice, and you were floating in the ocean." She brushed the hair from his eyes and waited to see if he'd respond. A twitch, a smile, a sigh. There was nothing. A nurse came to check on him every day. The physical therapist came 3 times a week. Her mom, who was an expert in underwater construction, had taken a job with a Norwegian oil company to get better benefits. So much of the work of caring for Noah fell to Finn and her grandmother. They fed, bathed, and turned him so he wouldn't get sores. Finn did her homework in his room, working through math problems. She could have used his help. Or discussing the novels from English class. If he were conscious, he would have left the room. She even told him things she would never say if he were awake, like about Marcus Hahn, who sat next to her in biology. She watched him quietly breathing in and out. Finn didn't let herself think about Noah before the coma, but seeing him in her dream, tears welled up in her eyes. She wiped them away with her sleeve. Even though she knew he couldn't see her, at the hospital she'd always left his room and cried someplace else. After a few weeks, she willed herself to stop crying, and hadn't since. Must be the dream, she thought. She stood up. "I'll get you some breakfast." In the kitchen, she grabbed an IV bag of liquid food to hook up to Noah's gastric tube. "Good morning, Fanula." Her grandmother, Margaret, was the only person in the world who dared to call her by her real name. "Good morning, Nana. How's Noah this morning?" "He wants bacon for breakfast." Nana smiled. "And I think I forgot to tell you, I'll be late getting home from school. My group's meeting to work on our science project." "It's Monday." Monday was the day they called.